In this question, students mark sum. You are given an array of integers, marks denoting the marks stored by students in a class. The alternating elements marks 0, marks 2, and marks 4, and so on denotes the marks of boys. And similarly, marks 1, marks 3, and marks 5, and so on denotes the marks of girls. Basically, it is given that we are given an array named marks in which marks 0, marks 2, and marks 4 like this even index values. We are given the marks of boys, and on odd index value, that is marks 1, we are given the marks of girls. And the array name marks will work as a pointer which stores the base address of the array. In other words, marks contain the address marks 0 is stored in the memory. For example, let marks is 325 and marks stores this hexadecimal value. This is the memory address of marks 0 as explained. Function description summation has the following parameters. Int marks number of students, the marks for each student. Second, the number of student, the size of marks array, and char gender means the variable gender, which is either girl or a boy. This function return type is int, so it returns the sum of marks of boys if gender is B, and marks of girls if gender is G. Input format, first line contains number of student, denoting the number of student in a class, hence the number of elements in marks. Each of the number of students subsequent line contains marks of I. The next line contains gender. Constraints which are given that number of students should be between 1 to 10 raised power 3, that is 1000, and same marks which is between 1 to 10 power 3, and gender which is either girl or a boy, G or B. So if we see our first sample input, it is given 3, that is the number of students, and for those 3 students we are given marks 3 to 5, and we have to find the sum of marks for boys. As we can see here that for boys the marks will be the even index values, that is marks 2, marks 4. So in this we will add these values 3 plus 5. We will get the sum of marks for boys. As it is explained here, marks of 0 plus marks of 2 is equals 3 plus 5 is equals to 8, which gives the marks of sum of marks of boys. And in sample input 1, if we see, that is we are given number of students 5, and for those 5 students these are marks given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we have to find the marks sum for girls. So for girls we have to find the sum of odd index value, that is marks of 1, that is 2, and marks of 3, that is 4. We get the output as 6. 2 plus 4 is equals to 6. So now if we see the code for this, it is given integer marks summation which stores 3 parameters: marks, int number of student, and char which is gender. Now for this we create a variable int sum is equals to 0, that is this sum variable will store the marks for boys or girls. If the gender is a boy, then we will run a loop to find the even index values. If the index is even, that is I modulo division 2 is equals to 0, then the index is even. We will sum those index values in some variable. We will store that value. And similarly, for if the gender is girl, then we will again run a loop for I is equals to 0, I less the number of student, I plus plus. And if the index is odd, this condition checks that the index is odd. And we will store the sum of marks of girls in some variable. And in last, we will return the sum. So if we run this code, we get our output, which is 8. And now if we submit it, all the test cases are passed. So this is our code for the question. Thank you.